moving on to tab 4, agency request legislation with Tricia Gouillon, Legislative Rules Manager.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm virtual today. Apologize for not being there. Tricia Gouillon, Legislative and Rules Manager, talking about agency request legislation. So tab 4, you'll see over the last 2 meetings, we talked about potential agency request legislation for 2026. Staff brought forward some ideas, and so did Commissioner Lawson. And then at the last meeting, you asked us to move forward with the proposal on animal cruelty. So in the packet there, you'll see that we held 2 feedback sessions, one with tribal partners and one with the public and stakeholders, and got feedback on on our proposal. So there's a few things I want to break down for you. First of all, there was a concern regarding the expansion of our authority. Currently, we are able to investigate animal cruelty cases once a gambling nexus is established. Going further to investigate these cases before that, there was a little bit of concern about expanding our authority. Additionally, that will come with some additional costs. We don't know exactly what that will be yet. If we continue to work on this, we'll look at the fiscal note. However, I do have some concerns regarding the legislative session in 2026, as the state budget outlook does not look positive. During the last forecast revenue, we saw that revenue did not look to be bouncing back as much as I think many had hoped. So I anticipate there could be another budget shortfall for 2026. And that could mean that legislators come back and look at our gambling revolving fund as a source to patch some of the hole. We know that they did that this year. They took $2.2 million from our account, and we would not be surprised if they needed to come back again next year looking for more funds. So with that concern, and with additional concerns that we received from the public and stakeholders regarding the euthanasia of roosters on site, concerns with that potentially destroying evidence, due process, some other concerns about, being on site and, euthanizing roosters that have been involved in cockfighting. My recommendation as of right now would be to hold on this proposal, have staff continue to work on it, and potentially bring it back after the legislature adjourns in 2026 to continue this conversation. But however, this is completely up to you, and staff will do as you direct us to.
Are there any questions from the commissioners? Comments from the commissioners? Okay. I know that I myself would be comfortable with tabling this issue for the time being while we focus on the next legislative session. That's my own personal opinion. So.
I suppose more of a budgetary question, if that be in order.
Sure. Yeah,
so in our last conversation, and thank you to Representative Clover for that letter as well, my understanding was that the rating of the enterprise fund by the legislature was also statutory. It wasn't just simply a one-off budgetary move, but an actual change to basically open the door to more of that in the future. Is that an accurate description?
Yes. So when they changed our statute to allow for that suite of funds, it's 2 parts. One, they identified the amount, the transfer section of the budget bill, but 2, they also opened up one of our statutes in regards to the gambling revolving fund, and it does authorize transfers during the biennium of the what biennium?
25-27.
So effectively normalizing rate.
For this biennium only. So
yes.
It can happen multiple times for the supplemental budget, as well as then supplemental 26 budget, as well as then the 27 budget. So up to 2 more times.
Right.
It would just then require in the future supplemental budget and the budget bill for 27 just a transfer. They wouldn't have to go back into the gambling revolving fund and make an adjustment.
So since this is a discussion about agency requests for legislation, can we request that they close the door? Due to your responsibility.
We will absolutely, yes, Commissioner, we will absolutely be talking to legislators, you know, especially once we see the next forecast revenue to see what the state outlook looks like. We will absolutely be having conversations with legislators regarding our fund as well. And we, you know, especially since we know that what it could look like for 2026, we would like to have those conversations before they come back to Olympia in January. So we will absolutely be talking to them.
Thank you. And one extra point, though, just in keeping with the prior presentation we just had, I mean, one of the other unique differences between our commission and, say, the lottery or the horse racing commission is that we're effectively a law enforcement agency, right? I mean, the stated legislative intent of the Gambling Commission is to remove a criminal element from gambling to make it social and recreational. And in your conversations, and, you know, hopefully this is something that we can discuss with your ex officio members who are listening too, is we're not simply talking about budget sustainability or IT upgrades or whatnot, but we are literally talking about the criminal element and the ability to functionally provide public safety services and the undermining of that potentially by allowing for continued irresponsible raiding to the general fund. So the law enforcement public safety aspect, I think, is really something that should be hit home in this conversation, and very, very appreciative of your efforts. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Okay,
we absolutely will. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you were ready to move on. I think, I'm not sure who had their hand up first, whether it was Representative Kloba or Commissioner Charles, but I will go with Representative Kloba.
I appreciate that. Yes, I just wanted to chime in and say that I would be very supportive of any action that the commission wanted to take in terms of removing that continuing ability to raid the fund. I think anyway, there's a lot of thoughts about that, but I would support you removing that. I think that the industry probably has something to say about it as well. And I echo Commissioner Ibsen's comments 100%. So thank you for articulating that so clearly, Commissioner Ibsen. Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Kloba. Commissioner Charles?
Hi, Tricia, I just have a question kind of regarding kind of just, is the concern capacity about pursuing the agency request legislation in addition to being concerned about like rating of our funds? Like, I wonder, is part of the concern that we'll lose focus if we are doing both of these? I just kind of wanted a little bit more of an understanding of why we should maybe table that and not do that too. So just wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of the concern is, you know, if we are worried about the legislature coming and taking funds from our account, you know, if we have agency request legislation that, you know, could in some way increase our costs too, like we should, you know, to me, be a little bit more focused on, let's see if they do need to come, or if they do come and take, you know, funds, or what that looks like, you know, kind of preserving our funds as much as we can right now. I think that should be our top priority.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Tricia? All right, thank you very much.
So you do have Kristen Gregory, who's asked to provide public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. Kirsten Gregory, did you have a comment?
I have just unmuted her and given her camera, so give it just a moment.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Kirsten Gregory, and I'm Legislative Affairs Director and General Counsel for Posada Safe Haven. Over the past 3 years, I've authored 3 major animal cruelty reform bills, which this commission has supported, and I wanted to begin by thanking you for that partnership. Just a few comments on the proposed legislation, whether that moves forward in 2026 or 2027. We do share your goal of allowing Gambling Commission investigators to pursue animal fighting cases without first establishing a gambling nexus. In fact, I believe your proposed changes to RCW 946-210, giving that authority in RCW 1652-011, including gambling commission investigators within the definition of law enforcement for animal cruelty purposes, would achieve that objective. However, as outlined in my written comments that I've provided to you, the proposed revisions to RCW 1652-085, which governs the seizure and forfeiture powers and requirements in animal cruelty cases, are unnecessary and carry significant risks. First, they broaden the constitutional exception to the warrant requirement for emergency aid and would allow warrantless entry even when there is no imminent danger or medical need. That change invites a constitutional challenge and could jeopardize prosecutions. Second, they eliminate due process safeguards by allowing seizure, even euthanasia, when otherwise healthy roosters without notice to the owner or the opportunity for a hearing. This is a fairness issue, a likely barrier to legislative passage, and a risk to the integrity of this critical statute. In short, I believe you can accomplish your stated goal through just the proposed revisions to RCW 946-210 and 1615-011 without the risks associated with the proposed changes to 1652-085. I look forward to working with you to ensure final legislation both passes the legislature and stands up in court. Thank you for your time and for reviewing my written comments with my full legal analysis.
Thank you, Ms. Gregory. Are there any further questions or discussion from the commissioners?
I just want to put on the record that we did receive written comments, and those have been passed out to the commissioners in regards to this tab prior, and written comment was received prior to 5 o'clock last night, and so we will post those, but they have been distributed. And then also, if I may, we don't need a vote, but if we can hear from the commissioners, because if you do want us to continue to move forward and bring this before you at the September meeting for agency request legislation, at that time you would decide to take a vote and move it forward. If you at this point feel that you've received enough information and can tell us whether or not you'd like us to continue to do this work in the next month to bring it forward, that's kind of what we're interested in hearing, is should we continue for the next 30 days prepping the package as required by the governor's office for submittal and bringing to you for final decision on whether to forward it or not in September, or should we pause now with working that agency request legislation package, because it is a significant amount of work yet to still be done. So don't need a vote, but if you could just kind of give me a gauge, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think from my own personal perspective, I don't feel like we need to go through the process of doing any additional work or information gathering on this issue. I know that we'll take a significant amount of staff resources and time to do that, and I think I'd rather see that time dedicated to some of our other initiatives that we have ongoing, like Polaris project, and some of the other things that I know that staff are working on. So I would be comfortable with tabling this for now and focusing on other priorities. Commissioner Charles or Chair Levy or Commissioner Ibsen?
Yeah, I mean, I support tabling this for the 2026 legislative session in its entirety and waiting until, we're able to correct a lot of these kind of comments and give some more input, but then, yeah, also focusing on our other priorities. So I'm in support of tabling this for this legislative session.
I take it Chair Levy doesn't have anything to add.
Okay.